Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for checking your boy out. Yeah, man, I got the glasses on today. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all. You know what I'm saying? We feeling good this morning. We got a cup of coffee. We finna get to it. So, guys, we are previewing the Texans versus the Patriots before the game releases. This is just going to be our little pregame show. We're not going to make this very long. I'm going to get to the point. I want to give you guys some things that I want you to watch going into this game, getting ready for this game. I want you to be smarter about football. So, like, subscribe, do what you do. Tell a friend of a friend and share the channel, please. I love you all. You guys have been consistent, so I will be consistent on my end as much as I can. Work is definitely picking up. I'm a recruiter, so I'm doing a lot of hiring right now. Leave in the comments if you're looking for a job. But anyway, guys, let's get to it. All right, guys. Let's bang the table right quick. Just what we've seen on the playoffs. Josh Allen's out. Bo Nix broke his foot. Jared Stidham's going to be back in. He's going to be playing in the AFC Championship game. Shout out to Jared Stidham. And then just as well as like San Fran. So I'll go over a few of those things real quick. I'm not going to go into any X's and O's, just kind of more so storylines, trying to get better at that. So doing those things, let you know I'm plugged into the league as well. So Josh Allen. I am not here to debate if that was a catch or not. It is what it is. I, as a DB, I love the fact that they made that call. As a former DB, I should say, I love the fact that they made that call. But ultimately, I don't know the rule well enough because, I mean, he did seem like he had possession on and his knee hit the ground. I'm not a Jalen apologist, okay? Bills Nation, not really terrible fans to me, but they do have a few knuckleheads that have went viral recently that's made Bills fans a little bit more hated. But I don't know, man. Fred Kurtz tried to tell y'all, that the window was closing for the Bills, and everyone laughed. And I just kind of was like, I mean, if you don't do it this year, window might be closed. I don't know. We'll see. San Fran had 1,000 injuries, and they're about to have to move their practice site because whatever plants next to them is just absolutely weakening their tendons and muscles, and it's causing a bunch of injuries. I don't know if you guys have seen the little story on San Fran as it relates to that facility they're next to. It does seem there's some where there's smoke, there's fire. And they've been saying that facility may have something to do with the player injuries that San Fran's experiencing. So I would just like to see what's going to happen of that. Now you're talking a little bit of politics and big business. So we'll see what comes of that. Seattle, man, they're freaking awesome. They fly around, they're fast, they're going to hit you in the mouth, they're going to execute at a high level, and Sam Darnold's going to take them for a ride. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, they're probably the number one team in NFL. They've probably been for a good majority of the season. We'll get there when we get there, but I cannot wait to study that Seattle film to see exactly what they do, because I think just like the Texans with a good and most good defenses, when you are good and you are stacked across the board with all pros and things like that on each level of your defense, it does tend to go less scheme and more, bro, can you beat us? Can you really do even the things that you're good at? Can you do them for 4 quarters thinking that we won't make slight adjustments? So we'll see what happens there. So, all right. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Oh wait, this is a PSA, public service announcement. If you get seasick off these waves, you can't sue me. Okay, all right. Love me, I love you, but the waves. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, all right, guys. So let's start with the Texans offense. You know how I always do. I use my hands like I'm Obama, but in a football sense. We're going to talk about the skeleton of this game and kind of explain the matchup, okay? This is kind of how it works in my brain. So you're talking Texans offense, you're talking offensive line. Formationally, the Texans offense runs a ton of 3 receiver sets. They run a lot of 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, Schultz, okay? Schultz can line up well. Pretty athletic, pretty big, has a level of commitment to the blocking, but he's not obviously the world's greatest blocker, but he's definitely going to be used to chip the edges, as well as he can spread out wide as well too and create matchup problems. as it pertains to the O-line and then just like the personnel groupings that they run with, I think the offensive line is okay, but I think what happens is that if you put Milton Williams, if you put Barmore, if you put Tonga, if you put Harold Landry, okay, we know he's hurt. He's probably going to have to get his knee drained or something at the end of the year. Boy needs some time off. But if you could at least get those three guys up the middle, really creating pressure and getting to CJ Stroud. CJ is not somebody that I'm worried about beating you with scrambling. I would have him moving left and right as much as I could. I don't want him to sit in the pocket. He's really actually a pocket quarterback to me, at least what the film shows. If his pocket is clean, he can make throws. Now, the thing about that is, and I'll get into that as I transition to the receivers, I think that having him in the pocket, sit in the pocket is probably the best way to lose the game. Have him on the move. Have him rolling out. Limit his take away half of the field. You know what I'm saying? Let him roll out. Let him take half of the field away, because your cornerbacks against this wide receiver group is going to be insane. We have a criminal who just somehow got out of his kennel to get to get into the show. Anyway, that's my boy Cairo. That's my son Cairo. Anyway, so I think that offensive line wise, if I don't know if you need to get pressure necessarily, but just like I told you guys with Justin Herbert, it's not so much as the pressure that matters to me. Everyone's talking about everyone wants to have an elite defensive end. That's understandable. But ultimately speaking, man, if you could just corral a quarterback, especially one that can move a little bit, and then you take away rushing lanes or you have rush discipline, you will, especially with an elite secondary on the background, you will be fine. You will be absolutely fine to me. Not every single game, but just the concept of football defensively, like I think you'll be fine. So you have three really strong guys in the middle. At the very least, that's never going to really take a playoff and get BITCHED. They're not. So they're going to be a force. They're going to be something to reckon with. And you're probably going to have to send some type of help to Milton or Barmore over time, and Tonga. So that should hopefully free up the ends, or at least allow them to contain properly so that we can keep him corralled in. Or even if he moves off, okay, great. Well, you got an elite secondary on the back end that can really run with these guys. So let's transition, and we'll get to CJ Stroud kind of last as we talk about the Texans offense, but let's get to the receivers really quickly. Let's see here. They got Jalen Noel, Christian Kirk, Jaden Hitchison, Nico's out, and then Xavier Hutchinson. These guys have not had killer seasons, though the offense in general has not been the greatest. So I think that the thing that you're going to see is that the Patriots obviously are not a man-based team. I think last game they ran man 27% of the time. I am interested to see, though, how they essentially guard or cover these receivers. You got Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is 5'11". Jalen Noel's 5'11". Those guys are relatively fast. The interesting thing that, everyone's kind of saying this game is going to fall on kind of like the shoulders of Christian Kirk. It's very interesting, though, because he plays about 50-50 on the inside and outside, but when he's in the slot, he only really gets targeted like 23% of the time when he's in the slot, I think is what I saw. So it's interesting because obviously you would think naturally that Marcus Jones would be a good matchup for him, which is true with the size and speed, but I don't know if they have traditionally gotten a lot of reps or synergy with him really actually eating up the slot, because they rarely pass it to him when he is in the slot. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use him on the outside. Are they going to trust Carlton Davis or Gonzo to cover him? He's more shifty. I think he's like a 4.3 speed guy, which Gonzo is a 4.3 speed too. So I think long stride wise, he can run with him. I just wonder if, having a smaller receiver like that has that twitch ability, can he out twitch Gonzo? Can he out twitch Carlton Davis in some key moments in this game if it's tight? Now, ultimately, again, I'm pretty sure the Patriots are going to be mostly in their zone. They're base nickel, cover one, switch out to cover two, kind of muddy up the middle of the field, things like that. So we'll see what they end up game planning. But I think the things that you want to watch out for is, again, that Marcus Jones, kind of how they use him. Also, they just activated Alex Austin. I saw that when I was watching Taylor and Mike with Patriots CLNS. So I think that is a reason, though. I don't think I think that's mostly for special teams, but I really, really think that in the red zone, Alex Austin can be a real key to the game. And why? Alex Austin is a little bit bigger. He's a little bit taller. He's a little bit stronger. And some of the bigger receivers that they have, like Jaden Higgins and Xavier Hutchinson, I think that he would be a better matchup. He can run with them. He can press with them, especially as it pertains to in the red zone. Not that Marcus Jones obviously can be a dog in the red zone. He absolutely is. But again, just height-wise, you don't want to see a situation where the Patriots are in a man situation and they run a pick route like they did, like a couple of times that these offensives did this year, where they would get Marcus Jones and Gonzo together and they'd run some type of crossing route, cause a little bit of a delay of confusion. And now you got a 6'5", London Drake on Marcus Jones, and then it just becomes jump ball or possession receiver type ball. So it'll be interesting to see how they use them, how the Texans often shuffle their guys around, and then how the Patriots counter that. Again, I don't think any of these receivers are just world beaters or anything like that, but I think that if our pass rush just so happens to fail us, or if we're not able to get the pressure that we need to keep CJ Stroud sped up, you could see a situation where they could get down the field. I will say that the Texans run a lot of good cover 2 man beaters as an offense. So I really don't want to see the Patriots in cover 2 too much. Now, cover 2 in the red zone is always interesting because it really just kind of turns into a man match. But generally speaking, on early downs and things like that, I really don't want to see them in cover 2. They have a very good, they do very good in the slot to really take their receivers. And though the play takes a while to develop, they usually will always try to attack that split safety. So in cover 2, you have free safety, strong safety, where if I'm in the middle, that's exactly where that receiver is going to be trying to run up to try to cause some type of confusion. Also, too, Dalton Schultz. Our safety is going to have an interesting time. I'm very interested to see if we put Carlton Davis maybe on Schultz, since he does line up wide and things like that. I like to see how that goes. But this is going to be on Gibbons. This is going to be on the safeties. This is going to be on probably Carlton Davis. We're going to have to find a way to contain him, especially on key downs, to make sure that they are not using that tight end, which is one of our kind of going into the season weaknesses that they not necessarily haven't cleaned up, but it always has opportunities to be better. All right, so CJ Stroud in general. CJ, I've been saying this all year, but I've been watching the film, just kind of watching his game sporadically. He just doesn't see it fast enough. I'm not sure if he's just as confident as he was maybe his first year. I can't speak to really the inner workings of the Texans. I don't follow them like that, even though, ironically enough, I'm from Houston, in Houston. But hey, I'm a Patriots fan, so I really don't entertain the Texans too much. But I think Drake May is better. I think there's a sizable gap in terms of what that better looks like. And so I'm interested to see what type of game plan they put together that is going to allow CJ Stroud to do anything more than fumble the ball and have a lot of 3 and outs. All right. Our defense, Patriots defense. We talked a little bit about the matchup. Really, we kind of talked a little bit about the matchup already, but a couple things that I think that this defense primarily can do. I really want to see them do those 5-man fronts again. I love when they bring everybody up on a line of scrimmage, because it gives so much variety to the type of play call that you can do as long as these guys are synced up in the back. So again, like I said, this game is going to really come down to the safeties in the passing game. Marcus Jones is going to be able to be a great support in the run game. And I want to say, on a side note, going back to the Texas offense for a second, they force you to be in essentially a nickel. It's like they almost, we talk about like matchups and the offense dictating what the defense does, the defense dictating what the offense does. They're going to run a 3-receiver set out of shotgun pretty much majority of the game. A lot of their other personnel groupers, they haven't ran a lot, and I don't think they're really going to they didn't require a lot of time for me to study them. So I know the Patriots are going to have those wrapped up in terms of maybe running like these jumbo sets to kind of essentially help with the run game. I will say the receivers for the Texans are very good at blocking. So Gonzo and Carlton Davis are not going to be able to be lazy going into this game, or really, I need them to be really active from the start of the jump. Both of those guys have times where they can kind of lag because they're both man coverage corners and we run a lot of zone. Sometimes they can kind of just, have a little brain fart moment, but you can't do that in this game. These receivers are going to come out, and at the very least, they're going to be able to pressure or block you, as well as do things like savvy routes against the zone. So again, going back to I'm getting old, I forgot where I was going with that. But essentially going back to this to the defense, I think ultimately they should be fine. I think matchup wise we should be fine, but I just want to see their aggression towards CJ Stroud. I want to see if they're able to bring guys on the line of scrimmage, cause confusion, get free rushers. I think that would be great. I think a couple hits on CJ Stroud early will absolutely speed him up. And I think at that point, when he's sped up and looking for someone to be open, and you just so happen to be in your 27% ran man coverage, I think he's going to freak out. I think you can see turnovers happen. So I really ultimately don't expect this Texas offense to do much, which means they'll probably score 50 points. But all that aside, so all right, guys. So my final to wrap this little video up, I said I wasn't going to go over 15 minutes, and I'm down 40 seconds already. So I want to my score prediction for this game. Actually, we've only talked about the Texans and the thing. Lord Almighty. So actually, really quickly, from the Patriots offense perspective, I really truly believe that the Patriots will be okay. This Texans defense is what this defense is. The offensive line is going to have to just hold up. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, these guys are going to have to just hold up. I think we'll be able to run the ball with some level of consistency, but I'll say that from the Chargers game, I didn't feel like we were able to run the ball because of just this great offensive line. I think the Chargers kind of really a lot of the rushing techniques and the rushing lanes really created opportunities for Ramondre Stevenson to really go off. And then obviously just the checkdowns that Ramondre was able to capitalize on. So I do think Ramondre is going to be a huge piece to the game. I think Drake is just going to need to play clean football. We will not need him to be Superman. I think there'll be some Superman type plays because that's what Drake does every single week. But I don't want him to be Superman. I want him to protect the ball, hold the ball, be able to read his keys, and make smart decisions. And if you got to check it down all the way up and down this field, let's do it. I think Stingley can be exposed on the outside. He is a really good cornerback. But I'm telling you guys right now, I've seen enough film on him to know that he also can maybe fall asleep at the wheel at times. I think Kayshawn is absolutely going to be prepared for their man coverage. I think Stephon Diggs is actually going to be prepared for their man coverage. I think what this game is going to come down to, though, ultimately is going to be in the slot. I think Demario Douglas is going to have to step up and have a big game. I think that Chisholm is going to have to step up and have a decent game. I think Ramondre and Trey Henderson in the passing game, really Ramondre more of anything, these guys are going to have a really step-up game. Now, I'm not saying a 100-yard game. What I'm saying is timely catches, consistent catches, being able to get open and help Drake May because that D-line is coming, okay? And these boys on the back end are sitting there, and they're going to be able to jump anything quickly. The first time you show a cut, anything like that, they're jumping it because they know that D-line is coming. So it's kind of like when they played the Browns. The Browns secondary was really, really aggressive. Primarily because they knew the D-line was getting there. Now, the problem is when the D-line doesn't get there or if that's blocked up correctly, then you'll have situations where you look up and Kayshawn Buddha's going to be running down the sideline with a step on Stingley. That's already happened before. We've seen that, right? So we've seen that play out literally last year when Drake was a rookie. So I think this defense has some opportunity to give up plays, give up yardage. So ultimately, so I can get my butt out of here. I said I was going to be at 15 minutes, and I just completely blew by that. So I'm going to give a score prediction of 21-10. I think the Patriots are going to primarily cruise through this game. I think it's going to feel a little tighter going into the second half, but I think ultimately Josh McDaniels is going to have some things that's going to exploit that aggression. I would expect to see screens. I would expect to see one or two trick plays. We just need to be solid on special teams and make sure that we play sound in special teams and make sure that we don't give up yardage advantages or starting drive advantages. If we can keep them at the 30 or under and make them drive down the field, ultimately the Texans will just cough it up at some point. But I do believe that Drake is going to have to play a clean game. The Texans may give you some, but you cannot give them any because this defense will score on you as well. So do not let this defense absolutely take over and wreck the game. Keys to the game. So anyway, guys, thanks for checking me out. This is your pregame. We'll probably go live after the game, seeing how I feel. We'll probably go live, to be honest with you, because we're probably going to turn up a little bit. So we'll have a good time. We'll go live on all our socials and all that stuff. But like, subscribe, do what you do. Send it to a friend of a friend. Thank you guys so much for checking me out. God bless. Go Patriots. See you next week. Oh, actually, I lied. See you at the live.